Hey everyone, my name is Yarrow and you're listening to the Daydreaming Wolves podcast. I know I said with the last episode that I sent your way that this was going to be the last one for 2020, but I feel like reaching out one more time today. I'm just sitting on my bed and the dogs just fell asleep, so I don't even have a mic, and I hope that the sound quality is okay anyway. Here we are. It's the very last day and we made it, and I think that in itself is really reason enough to just be proud and let that be enough. So this episode is going to be kind of like a continuation to the last one, which was about letting things be enough. And also it's number 99, so we're very close to 100 episodes now, which is so exciting. I want to talk a little bit about today and just, letting the year slip away quietly. I'm going to be celebrating by myself, and yeah, that is weird, definitely. So if that's you as well, if you're living alone and you're not meeting up with anyone, especially if you're living in a cold place, it's really hard to safely meet people outside for anything more than 10 minutes. Scotland is covered in snow at the moment. And I have been on a few distance walks in the last few weeks, but it is hard. It's getting really cold. And that's tricky. So yeah, I just want to say you're not alone celebrating by yourself. I hope that it won't be sad and that there's something on the other side of this. And in a way, it's just another evening, isn't it? And it's been a really difficult year. I think it's totally okay to not even want to celebrate and just to be nice to ourselves. Before I go into sharing some more rituals and what I'm doing today, just a few updates. The Embodied Business Community is opening on January 13th, a few days after I'm returning to work, and you can get on the waitlist if you want. They'll be linked in the show notes. It's a really beautiful year-long community program with a big business course and lots of live workshops and co-working spaces and support from like-minded people. It's really one of the favorite things in my work. I mean, I love everything I do. I'm very, very lucky, but I just love that community. So yeah, get on the waitlist if you're interested to hear about that. And then our Saturday creative space sessions are still going really strong, and they're so beautiful. It's always a lovely bunch of people showing up. We just open together, do a little check-in, a really brief meditation, and then we light some candles and we make stuff together. So some of us are working with the journaling prompts that I offer, some of us do other crafty or arty things, and sometimes we listen to music, and it's just a nice way to be together and have some kind of commitment around creative practice in a kind of low energy way. Last Saturday, we did a bigger Christmas celebration. Thank you so much to everyone who came for that. It was really nice to do that and to be less alone at Christmas. And I've decided to also do some other seasonal workshops or special days in the year ahead. So yeah, if you're already a patron and you haven't come yet, please do come and check it out. We'd love to have you. And if you want to join, again, you can check the link in the show notes. Other than that, I have deleted my Instagram profile yesterday, my account, and I don't know, I think I'll say more about that when I have been with that decision for a while, or, once I have more thoughts about all of that stuff, but it just felt like a gift I could give myself at the end of the year, and I think in a way it's been a long time coming. I had taken a 6-month break in 2019, and then this year I came back. And it was often really nice to shout into the void together and to feel connected in that way and to, be exposed to ideas. But a week before Christmas, I deactivated my account again because I really needed a break, and I'm taking 3 weeks off. I mean, apart from obviously recording the odd podcast episode. But I noticed that as I was, spending the first week off work, how long it really took me to settle into a space of stillness and not working and really resting. And I think that had so much to do with how noisy my digital life had been this year and how much I was exposing myself to so many people's stuff, so many products and ideas and things. And I think I've become a little bit better with moderation. I shifted from using a smartphone to a feature phone, which is just like a simple Nokia phone with buttons, in August this year, and that's really helped to reduce screen time and only use Instagram at my computer and all that stuff. But there was still kind of this restlessness of like lying in bed and reading a few pages and then picking up my computer again and like checking the news again and like switching between these different tabs and having all of them open all the time. Like when I have ever less than 10 tabs open, right? And so, yeah, I really hadn't planned that I would completely delete the profile, but I think it just suddenly made so much sense. And there's been snow in the last few days here in Scotland, which I know sounds like not directly related, but I think the snow gave me so much clarity. It slowed us down even more. Like when I say us, I mean me and my 2 dogs. We go on walks every day, and we sometimes, well, a few times a week, we circle a nearby river, and there's a little lake as well. And the lake froze over, and I was like, wow, it's so still. I really want more of that stillness in my life. And of course, there's so many beautiful things that I got out of being on Instagram as well, like meeting new people and feeling connected in like a particular way, in a way that sometimes feels superficial, but nevertheless, it's been cool to see people's meals and people's pets and all that stuff. And I think I needed to ask myself some hard questions around like what staying in touch really means for me at this stage in my life and what I'm giving to this platform. And then also kind of the ethics around that, the role of big tech. I watched the Social Dilemma again, which is so eye-opening, and then it just felt right. And I don't want to be preachy in any way. I think there's, like I said, really good reasons to be on Instagram or any other social media platform, and I think especially if we run small businesses, it can be a really great tool. And I will, yeah, like I said, over on my DIY Small Business podcast, I'll share more thoughts on that when I have them, about like what that all means and what alternatives are. And I think, of course, I'm very lucky that I have built 2 podcasts and a newsletter, so I have other ways of sharing my work now. And that's not to be underestimated. Not everyone is there, and that's okay, and that takes time and a lot of unpaid labor. But I'll be thinking about, yeah, like how we can all create the kind of culture together that is regenerative to our attention span and to each other and everything that we believe in. And I'll share that when I know more, basically. Yeah, and I think following on from that, I'm really noticing that there's a cultural shift that makes me feel hopeful and excited this year, and that way less people are talking about big New Year's resolutions. And like, I think we are hopefully stepping away from this really relentless self-improvement towards living more cyclically and being more open to being present with grief and anger. I know I feel really sad and angry about so much that happened this year, so much of which has been unavoidable and is not, we've lost people, so many beautiful people, and they're not going to come back. And there's nothing we can say about that makes it better. I think it's just good to be just with that truth, or without trying to see the positive. And there's definitely been positive things this year, no doubt about it at all. But I think, yeah, if I mean, a year ago I did this death doula training, and I loved it so much, but it felt really vague to me to know kind of what that meant or how I want to bring that work forward. And I'm just now kind of like seeing these first glimpses of feeling like, oh yeah, I've learned new ways of talking about and confronting death, grief and loss. And I'm more willing to see how being open to that process can actually give my life more depth. And it doesn't mean that I'm a downer or that I can't feel joy or pleasure or connection, all these beautiful things. I think actually quite the opposite. It is enriching. So anyway, So anyway, yeah, making space for anger and grief feels important right now, and I love that we're all just being so much more gentle with ourselves, and also noticing, like, as I'm literally watching the snow fall right now, it just doesn't feel like it's the time to, like, force really drastic changes upon our bodies, our lifestyles, or the things that we do. Like, our bodies are really deep in hibernation mode, and there's so much beauty in that rest. And I don't know, I'm just trying to eat really nourishing stuff and have lots of warmth and candles, and I don't want to go out there and, like, start a whole new thing right now. um, what I have done is planting lots of bulbs in my garden, so when Imbolc comes at the beginning of February, I will I will be ready to kind of welcome spring, and there'll be tulips and lots of other cute plants hopefully slowly coming up. I'm really excited to see snowdrops, and I want to give myself space from now till then at least to remain still and not make too many big moves. I'm just holding the little seeds underground for now. Um, yeah, I think there's just so much to reckon with and think about, and I am, of course, like, really missing my friends so much, and just hugs and being able to casually go into someone's house, and oh my god, like, I would love to sit down in, like, a real life circle right now to just kind of process together and share snacks, and then, like, even small things like handing a bowl to someone else and not thinking about disinfecting it, or, have I washed my hands enough? That will be so cool when it comes, and it might be still really some time off, but I'm so looking forward to it. And for now, I'm just kind of trying to remind myself that my only job and the only thing I'm being asked to do is to stay home and to keep my body out of the way and to wait and be patient and trust that things will get better, I guess. I didn't actually mean to end on such a cheesy note, but I think here we are. I just said a very cheesy thing and I don't have much else to say, but I just want to say thank you again for your support this year. Thank you so much for listening and leaving reviews and being a Patreon and giving me feedback and supporting my weird decisions and being open to trying things out. We've done so much cool stuff together. I ran live classes last winter around tarot and then zine making, and then we did the first run of the Unravel program in the summer, and then in autumn I started the creative space sessions. I wrote my book, which you have helped me so much with. None of that would have been possible without Patreons. And so, yeah, thank you so much. And if you needed permission to have a cry today or make space for all your feelings and not have any resolutions and hear from someone else who's doing the same, then I really hope listening to this episode has been supportive in some way. And I look forward to celebrating the 100th one with you soon. And I'm also looking forward to sharing new interviews again and just new stuff that I'm planning for the new year. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the link to sign up for my newsletter in the show notes as well, in case you want to stay in touch there instead of Instagram. And yeah, sending lots of love. Bye. Wait, actually, there's one more thing. I'm so silly. I made some notes, but I kind of, as I was speaking and recording this episode, I looked out of the window because snow is falling. That was so beautiful to watch. So I totally forgot this ritual that I wanted to share with you for the new year. So I don't know about you, but I find New Year's spread kind of a little bit overwhelming, and I obviously love playing with tarot, oracle cards, and journaling, but sometimes to me, doing like a big year ahead spread with like more than 10 cards or something can feel really overwhelming, and I have this deal with myself that I only draw cards when I can really engage with them and sit down and journal and all that stuff. So I just don't feel like I'm in that headspace right now, and I think I also don't know that I want to think ahead so much, like committing to thinking about the next 12 months feels pretty big. I'm more like, let's think about today and tomorrow. And then in some vague way, I'm going to think about the next 3 months, but in a very abstract way. So anyway, but what I'm going to do instead is choose a card rather than draw one. So I'm going to choose a card that I want to work with this year. And I'm just going to pull that out and put it on my desk and make a little altar around it, maybe add a stone and a tea light. And I'm just going to think about what that card means to me and how it might be a guardian for me this year. So some people are really into calculating the card for the year based on kind of like adding the numbers up, and so the year that we're going into would be a Hierophant year, and that's really cool and interesting. If you want to think about that, that might be cool. But if you feel like, I have my card for the year, and this is my astrology and all that, but I also want to choose something for myself, I think that's really beautiful too. And I think, like, how about we give ourselves gifts right now just for making it through 2020 instead of making resolutions. I love that idea. So I'm gifting myself the choice of choosing a card as a guardian, and I'm going to have that near me all the time and look at it. And sometimes I do these little polls like once a month where I draw one card for something I want to be inviting, to be closer to that card, and one thing to let go to be closer to that card. And it's really sweet and simple. And it's helped me lots. And in 2019, for example, I worked with the King of Coins, and I thought a lot about grounding and stability and money and how I relate to these things. And it's really shifted over that year. And so that was cool. And I think this coming year, I really want like a nurturing, protective, kind presence in my life that I want to explore how I can relate to. And another sweet story, which is kind of unrelated, I'm so sorry, but it's kind of on the theme of giving yourself a gift for making it through. So again, I want to give you permission, if you're into the idea as well, is that I have a ring that I've been wearing for years, and I got a bit too small this year. And so I took it off, and I had a look around. I did some window shopping on Etsy, and I knew, like, ideally I would love a band ring that's hammered out of recycled gold, and it wanted it to be really big and chunky. And I saw lots that I really liked, but I couldn't justify spending that much money. And I also obviously, they are just worth a lot of money, and that's fair. Like, I wanna pay fairly if I do buy something like that. So I came across this one shop that had exactly the kind of chunky, big golden ring that I like, and the description said, "Oh, here, I have all these different options, and here's my Instagram profile, and the website is coming soon." I was like, "Damn it!" So I emailed this guy who also lives in UK, and I was like, "Hey, saw this thing, and you know it, and I know this is a bit weird, but I happen to be a web designer, and would you maybe want to trade me a website for this ring?" And he said, like, "Oh my god, yeah, this is amazing. We've been working on our own website for like a year, and it's never really come together, and we're stuck on a few things. So we worked together in December. I completed his site, and I'm now wearing this beautiful, massive, chunky golden ring that's engraved with slower, deeper, wilder, which is kind of like the words that have come out for me this year. And I look at it with so much pride. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I made it through. This is enough. I gave myself a ring. Didn't spend lots of money, but I was in a really good deal here. And that feels so nice. So I hope that you can gift yourself something as well, and maybe choose a card that you like and want to surround yourself with. And now I'm really going to end here. Thank you so much for listening.